It's officially draft week, and if the latest three-round mock draft from ESPN's Mel Kiper Jr. and Field Yates is any indication, the Atlanta Falcons could be heading into Thursday night with a crystal-clear view. And if you're a fan yearning for a defensive breakout and long-term stability in the secondary, buckle up, because this pair of projected picks could be just what the franchise needs to finally turn the tables in the NFC South. We'll break it down, but first make sure to hit that like button. I'll keep you updated. Now, let's get right to it, because at pick 15, the Falcons are selecting Mike Green, the explosive edge rusher from Marshall. If that name sounds familiar, it's because it should. Green has been one of the most consistent presences in Falcons mock drafts all offseason, and for good reason. At 6'4" and 240 pounds, Green doesn't fit the mold of a traditional 3-4 defensive end, but make no mistake, he brings power. His frame and style of play are best suited as an outside linebacker, which is exactly what Atlanta needs alongside Leonard Floyd and Arnold Ebiketie. The 2024 season was a breakout for Green. He led the nation with 17 sacks and 23 tackles for loss, showing that he's not just a pass rusher but also a three-down player. And that's a crucial distinction. The Falcons can't afford to draft a one-dimensional 15-year-old rusher. They need someone who can set the tone, someone who can influence the game on both first and third downs. Green's ability to create leverage against the run, despite not being a 300-pound lineman, makes him a good fit for multiple fronts and packages. But Green's story isn't without its complications. He has only one season of starting experience. That raises natural concerns about consistency and long-term projection. Was 2024 a flash in the pan or the beginning of something special? And then there are the off-field issues. Green was accused of sexual assault on two separate occasions, one allegedly in high school and another during his time at Virginia. No charges were ever filed, and coaches from both Virginia and Marshall have vouched for his character. Still, teams must do their due diligence. A first-round investment requires more than just on-field potential. It demands trust in the person behind the helmet. From a pure football standpoint, the fit is enticing. A rotation of Leonard Floyd, Mike Green, and Arnold Ebiketie gives Atlanta something they've lacked for nearly 2 decades, depth and explosiveness off the edge. Add in Bralon Trice, last year's third-rounder coming back from injury, and the Falcons suddenly have a front seven that's both young and flexible. This wouldn't be an elite group just yet, but it's a legitimate step toward building one. Now, moving into the second round, the Falcons hold pick number 46, and Mel and Field have them selecting Benjamin Morrison, the highly talented cornerback out of Notre Dame. Let's be honest, this pick is a bit of a swing. Morrison stands 6 feet 0 inches, weighs 190 pounds, and brings a unique blend of athleticism and production. But he missed 10 games in 2024 with a hip injury, and the year before that, he battled a shoulder issue. So you're not just drafting a player, you're drafting a medical projection. But if Morrison returns to his 2023 form, this could be a steal. In that season, he broke up 13 passes, recorded 3 interceptions, and allowed just 279 yards and 3 touchdowns in coverage. That's elite corner play. His footwork, hip fluidity, and ball-tracking instincts all jump off the tape. Unlike some prospects who flash athleticism but lack polish, Morrison offers the full package when healthy. And that's the caveat, when healthy. Hip injuries are red flags for corners. This is a position where agility, speed, and quick change of direction are everything. If a cornerback can't flip his hips cleanly, he's going to get exposed fast. But here's where the Falcons' current depth helps. With A.J. Terrell and Mike Hughes holding down starting duties, and younger depth like Clark Phillips III and D. Alford in the mix, Atlanta doesn't need Morrison to start week 1. They can afford to let him rehab, develop, and come back fully ready in 2026. This draft strategy is smart. Take a swing on a potential cornerstone pass rusher in round 1, then grab a high upside, injury recovery corner in round 2 who could become Terrell's long-term running mate. It's the kind of flexibility the Falcons haven't had in years. Credit to the front office for building out just enough depth to avoid desperation drafting. But let's talk about who they passed on. At pick 46, Atlanta skipped on names like Shamir Stewart, an athletic marvel with questionable production, Derek Carman from Oregon, and Nikhai Manuri, who could have paired nicely with Jesse Bates in the secondary. There was also Walter Nolan, a possible Grady Jarrett successor. So, was Morrison the best call? And before we close out, let's look briefly at what Atlanta could do if they trade back into round 3. They currently don't hold a third-round pick, but there are intriguing names who could still be available. Jared Wilson, if they need to replace Drew Dalman at center. Alfred Collins, a disruptive defensive tackle from Texas. Or even Jack Sawyer, the motor-driven defensive end from Ohio State. If the Falcons move down from 15 or find a trade partner, watch for one of these names. So, to wrap part 1, Atlanta walks away with Mike Green and Benjamin Morrison, 2 potential foundational pieces if things break right. Both come with risk, but the upside? Tremendous. They wouldn't just fill needs, they'd bring juice, versatility, and future value to key defensive positions. Now I want to hear from you. Do you approve of these 2 picks? Is Mike Green worth the risk at 15? Would you gamble on Benjamin Morrison's hip? Drop your answers in the comments. Taking Mike Green in the first round, despite his limited starting experience and off-field questions, is a clear sign that the Falcons are prioritizing playmakers. Guys who can wreck a game, not just fill a depth chart. And Benjamin Morrison? That's another upside swing. Atlanta could have gone with a plug-and-play prospect, someone with clean medicals and less risk. But instead, they're betting on elite tape and long-term potential. If his hip heals, and there's every reason to believe it will with proper development, Morrison can be a starting-caliber cornerback on a rookie contract, which opens the door for salary flexibility when A.J. Terrell's next extension hits the books. Now, think about the future this mock is setting up. A defense anchored by Arnold Ebiketie and Mike Green off the edges, Keenan Ellis bringing pressure from the second level, and Morrison shadowing WR2S opposite Terrell. Add in Jesse Bates 3 patrolling the deep third. And suddenly you've got a unit with teeth. It's not elite yet, but it has a path to get there. And this is all before considering potential movement on draft night. As we saw in the later part of this mock, Atlanta doesn't hold a third-round pick, but they could easily trade down from 15 or package future capital to re-enter the round. If that happens, names like Jared Wilson, center, Omar Norman-Lott, pass-rushing DT, or even Jack Sawyer, another Ohio State edge, could be in play. Each would add value to this roster and deepen the competition across key positions. There's also the quarterback factor still hovering in the background. With no new developments on Kirk Cousins in this mock, it's a reminder that this front office is building with or without him in mind. That's important. The Falcons are clearly positioning themselves to be competitive now while also laying groundwork for the next phase, whether that's with Cousins or a future franchise QB. And building the defense first is a smart way to buy time and remain competitive regardless of what happens under center. So now that we've seen what Mel Kiper Jr. and Field Yates projected, let's put the question to you, Falcons fans, would you be happy with this outcome? Does Mike Green at 15 give you hope for a revitalized pass rush? Would you take the risk on Morrison's hip for a chance to land a potential Pro Bowl corner in the second round? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Go Falcons!